Today I'm working on my 98 Yamaha 115 two-stroke, and what I'm going to be working on today is I'm going to replace what's called the poppet valve. The poppet valve is located right down here, and the reason why I'm going to do it is if you look here closely you'll see a lot of corrosion right there. It looks like I've had some water leaking, and also basically if you follow this tube down where it goes into the bottom of the block and look right back up in there, you can see some more water that's been leaking out there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. There's two 10 millimeter bolts that basically need to come out in order to remove it. So I'll take that out and then I'll explain what it does here when I get it out. Okay, so I got the poppet valve out, and as you can see here, I've got some stuff here. It looks like it needs to kind of be cleaned out there, and getting the hose off of that end there was a little trickier. So when I remove the poppet valve, or the cover there, what comes out is a spring, and this is the actual valve itself. It's just a plastic piece that basically goes in and out, and then this spring keeps it in place, and when too much pressure builds up inside the head there, basically it releases some of the pressure, some of the water to come out. A lot of people overlook this in the cooling system, and what happens here is that if this valve actually stays shut or clamps shut, that's actually where you can get an overheating problem, and vice versa. If it sticks open, then your engine's going to run too cool. If it's running too cool, then the way I understand it is your fuel mixture is going to be too rich. If it's closed off, it's going to run hot, and then you're going to run too lean. The other thing I wanted to show you too is that here's the housing, and as you can see there's quite a bit of corrosion on the outside there. So that water's been just trapped there, and that's where it's obviously been leaking. And then the hose itself, you can see the hose is kind of misshapen as well, so I'll feel good about replacing that as well. Now what I also have to remove is there is a rubber gasket or grommet inside here, and I'm going to replace that, and the key is you need to get that thing out and not drop it inside of the block. So I'm going to do that next. Okay, so here are my parts. Here's that little rubber grommet that I took out. So I'm going to put a new one in there. I'm going to replace the spring. And I was going to replace the poppet valve itself, but this is the one that basically they sent me. And this is the one that I took out. And it's just a piece of plastic, so I don't know which one is the correct one, but this is the one that I took out. So I'm just going to clean that up and put it back in. And then this cover, this is really corroded. I don't think I would get a good seal on that thing again, so I'm just going to replace this. I wasn't planning on doing that, but I didn't realize how corroded that was, so I'm going to have to finish this after I get a new part. Alright, so I'm back. I got a new poppet valve cover, and as you can see that's going to work out very nicely, very clean to say the least. So the other change is I talked to a mechanic there in Yamaha, and I asked him about this poppet valve. This is the new design actually, and this is something that they went to apparently quite a while ago, and this just sits in the top of the spring, and then the mushroom part sits onto the grommet to let the pressure out, for example, when it builds up too much. And again, what happens is that if that valve gets stuck, water can't circulate, therefore you're going to have an overheating problem and you're going to run lean. And vice versa, if it sticks open, then their motor's going to run too cold, then your motor's going to run too rich. So we'll go ahead and put these in and we'll see how it works. Okay, I got the grommet in here, and the way that I did it so I didn't drop it down the back there is what I did is I just held my screwdriver here up against the back wall while I pushed the grommet in place, and that way if I accidentally pushed the grommet too far and it fell inside, I'd be able to retrieve it that way. But you definitely don't want to drop it down there I don't want to make this a bigger job than it already is.